I think I know what the answer is. It Steve Kerr's job to develop players? Or is it Steve Kerr's job to win as many games as possible when he coaches the Golden State Warriors? See, I think Steve Kerr might tell you, yeah, I don't develop players. That's for my staff to do. That's what Jama did. That's what my assistant coaches do.
You know what? That's not.
So if
I don't know how to answer that.
They have to develop. Kerr's probably thinking they have to develop under our assistant coaches, and if our assistant coaches develop them and they get better, then I can start playing them more. But I'm not
don't
sure.
Don't ever come at me saying I didn't develop blah blah blah.
Well, no, I don't think Steve Kerr really develops guys. Yeah. He's, I think he probably tells the assistant coaches what they need more of out of their young players, and then it's up to the assistant coaches to try to get them to play more that way, and then Steve Kerr will play them more.
It's funny you say that, Steiny, because the last 5 or 6 years, when you talk about a player's improvement, even LeBron with his handle, Phil Handy, guys like that get the credit. It's not the head coach. And the more I'm thinking of it, maybe 5 years ago I would have been like, hell yes, but this ain't high school. Steiny, it is on the G League and the assistant coaches like Phil Handy to have them work. Now, as far as getting in the game, that's a different story, and that's where we saw J.K. pout, and it just go all bad for him. Steiny, he wasn't even a thought during the Lakers series, and that's why nobody could call this show and say Kuminga had a good year. Now, was that his fault? Was it Kerr's? I'm giving 50-50. I'm giving 60-40. It was Kuminga's fault because obviously you were complaining when you shouldn't have been, but Moody could have complained more, and he handled it the right way to where he ended up being a big part of the Lakers Warriors rotation against the Lakers.
Yeah, 707 bringing something up that I did hear, and I just kind of let it go, but whatever. It's another one. When you were saying you're talking about Kuminga and Draymond bonding, you said they needed that kind of bondage. Somebody on the text line.
Yeah, I would have to hear the tape.
It was
because if you didn't, it don't count if you didn't say it. If you didn't stop me.
Okay, good. Yeah. But he wanted to bring.
Could
that
be a
up.
she.
That's true.
My fault.
No, it's not because we don't know if it was said.
It doesn't matter.
No, it really doesn't.
It doesn't matter.
Quit being a dweeb.
Who, me?
Yeah, when you do that, yeah.
Wait a minute.
When we're having good days, you can do that. But when we're having not
we're
good
not
days,
having a good day now?
I'm having a we're on fire.
Andre
you don't even
McCutcheon.
know.
Well, then
why would he play
JMC?
Andre McCutcheon, and y'all just let it go. Damn.
Let's go to Rob in San Bruno. He's got a feeling about Steve Kerr. Whether he should be developing guys. What's up, Rob? How you doing? Rick Bucher, FS1 TV analyst coming up at noon. What's up, Rob? How you doing, man?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Talk to us.
All right, man. I disagree, man. I think that your job as a head coach is to develop talent to play in your system. Every player that comes in the NBA is not going to fit what the Warriors do because that's not how they come up playing basketball nowadays. So if you're going to play that style of play, you need to make sure you have some type of development to where you can develop these guys and play that style of play. And I think Kerr's flaw is he can't reach the young guys. He can't reach them 20-year-olds. It's not in his personality. I think that's what's wrong with his coaching. He can't reach those young guys. It's easier to reach the Draymonds, the Clay, and the Steph because you're playing to their strengths. And they're going to eat it all up. But at the end of the day, to really compete for more titles in the future in the next couple of years, they need to do something different and develop those guys. I think we're giving Kerr an excuse. You're a coach. What else you do? You just sit there and call plays? I can do that. You know what I'm saying? Coaches develop talent. Develop your talent. That's all I got to say.
But Rob, I'll say this to Rob. He's gone. But what about when players like Jordan Poole and Moody, they go to the G League? Kerr's not giving them that toolage.
Did Kerr develop Jordan Poole?
I'm going to say no, and that's not taking anything away from Steve Kerr.
And I'm not
Jordan Poole developed Jordan Poole, and along with the staff who gets kudos in Santa Cruz. That's my answer. How would you answer that? How could he didn't work one-on-one with him, Steiny? Fundamentals?
I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. I'm putting it out there. 510 says, I wholeheartedly disagree, Steiny. Good leaders, which I believe Kerr to be, are responsible for everything underneath them. Kerr would probably be the first to say that his staff does the majority of heavy lifting when it comes to player development. He'd probably be the first to give them due credit as well, but we can't say it's not his responsibility as the head coach. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I'm just
like, it's not a demerit.
I'm not saying that Steve Kerr doesn't develop players, young players, nor should he, because that's not a coach's job. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is when you get to the professional level and you got 9 assistant coaches, I don't think that the head coach is involved in player development, particularly individual player development, like the assistant coaches are at the pro level or like the head coaches are at the college level.
No doubt.
So,
and that's why I keep bringing you.
I do think, Goo, that some coaches would say, it's not the way I.
That ain't what. There's a feel. I keep going here, Stein. There's a feel handy supposedly on every staff, right? Player development. And sometimes there's more than just one.
Exactly.
So hell no, that ain't Kerr's job. Now, I will say this for the people in the back saying, like Rob, that he can't connect with Moody. What about that conversation he shared with Willard and Dibbs? I'm talking Steve Kerr, when he said Moody said he would rather sit on the bench in the NBA than to play in college. Like, to me, that's a connection. That's Steve saying he sat the young man down. They chopped it up. But I guess I would like to hear a Kuminga example from Steve Kerr, because right now, Steiny, I don't think that the car is pointed in the right direction on him maximizing and becoming the best he can be with what's in front of him and just the history that has been his tenure here as a Warrior. We'll see.
Let's hear a little more from Draymond Green from the podcast with Paul, Podcast P. Oh, gosh.
In 2019, obviously, we lost in the finals, and then KD left, and Clay got hurt, and then Steph got hurt 2 games. Sean got traded away. Sean retired. Andre got traded away. All our vets left. So all of a sudden, I went from like the young guy on the team to like year 8 of thrown into the fire of like being this mentor. And like, I've always been a mentor. That's what it is. But being a vet is a totally different thing than being a mentor.
Right.
And so then I just start trying to learn how to be a vet on the fly. And to have someone there that I can continue to watch and learn from, I'm actually looking forward to, because I know that that's something that I need to continue to, an area.
I want to see it. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Be interested.
I guess I do kind of feel him on the. Steiny, can you explain to me, your wordsmith, the difference between mentor and lead?
Not really.
Man,
I think
they're cousins. Like, come on, man. The stuff you give people credit for, and then you find out, I wasn't doing a lot of that, Goo.
What do you think of his tone during this whole thing? He's on a podcast.
Yes, and but Podcast P is
but-
asking them to tell the world about yourself.
But just the way he talks, you can tell he.
Tell me, where are you going?
I mean, he thinks everything he says is super duper important.
Man,
he's a big fan of what he's saying.
Yeah,
that's all. Like Joshua Ram says, he's kind of. What did he say? He's kind of. He had a good. What was it? He's like kind of full of himself. Draymond.
Terrell Owens said it. T.O. loves him some T.O. Dre loves him some Dre. Nothing wrong with it. I tell my kids, don't let anybody control how you feel. Love yourself, and Dre loves himself.
You know how you were worried about where they're going to make up Jordan Poole's missing score?
I was going to ask Rick, too.
Yeah, well, here's how Draymond Green thinks it's going to be dealt with.
I actually look forward to learning this from him. I think Chris Paul will completely unlock Jonathan Kuminga and his growth.
Mm-hmm.
CP is great with young guys. DeAndre Ayton looked like a bust before CP came to Phoenix.
Facts.
No disrespect to Ayton, but more so a nod to CP.
Yeah.
Like,
More of a threat.
people
man.
didn't know what they were like, what DeAndre Ayton was going to turn out to be, and then CP went there, and all of a sudden
Turned him
DeAndre
up.
Ayton became an all-star level player.
Right.
And so I think what he will do for Jonathan Kuminga and unlocking Kuminga is huge.
Amazing.
Absolutely huge. And I look forward to learning that from him. He's always been incredible at mentoring young guys. And that is an area that I've wanted to grow in because it's one that I kind of got thrusted into.
I love Dre. I got to
Of
be
course,
careful
yeah.
here. So now you just tell us that you didn't do it the right way or how you thought with Kuminga. And now, on the other hand, you're telling us that he's not going to be your project. It's CP3's going to do it. And when you say unlock, I mean, are we talking on and off the court, or are we just talking about on the court and passing them the ball? I'm just like, Dre, I thought you were going to you said you learned from what you thought you did wrong. So I thought you were going to take Kuminga under your wing. And maybe I'm just pulling my hair out, Steiny, but it's just, I'm listening to him.